What's up, AfterBuzzers? You are watching Veep Season 5, Episode 3, The Eagle. We got drama with China, Nevada, everywhere, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
What's up, AfterBuzzers? Happy Sunday! Another night with Selina. So happy to be back.
Yeah, we love it. Welcome back. We missed you last week.
Thank you. I missed it. I was in Mexico, so I can't say I was that sad. But I did miss y'all, though, and I missed the show.
We're keeping up with American politics of Veep happenings.
Exactly. I know. Y'all can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant. What about you?
You can find me everywhere at Nadine DP and the number 3.
As always, you can find us all at AfterBuzz TV. Tweet us with what you thought of the episode, your favorite lines, because it was another. I mean, when is it not hilarious?
Amazing.
I say the same thing every time, but it truly is so funny. We're still dealing with the Nevada ballot debacle.
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with that. She wants to delay the ballot certification because now we found out that there are these missing ballots potentially.
Yeah, they're trying to find out where they are. But I think just the funniest part is that they're still using that joke of Nevada and Nevada.
I know.
Just randomly, Mike or Kent will just correct her and they won't make a thing about it. They'll just be like,
it's
Nevada.
Really quick. Nevada.
It's just going to always be a thing, I feel like.
I still haven't Googled how you're correctly supposed to say that, but I really need to do that. But they're gonna set up a little meeting with I'm about to blank on his name already, Mr. Whitman
yep.
in Vegas, and she sends her trusty Richard along with Bob the Eagle, because that's the person that she says she trusts to be alongside Bob the most. She just loves Richard.
Oh yeah, she thinks that he's the greatest thing ever
because he does things without even doing them. He doesn't even know what he's doing, and somehow he just gets results.
Yeah, well, I mean, last week's episode he was doing things and kind of messing things up, but this episode we're seeing the only scene he was really in, it actually kind of worked to everyone's benefit.
I know.
So oddly enough,
even though he still asked for a picture for his blog. what do you call it? Let's talk about Splat.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's one of those people that's just so smart, but just not socially able to understand any type of cues and what to say, what not to say. But his brain is just going so quickly.
I love his character though, because he's just so random and has no idea what's really going on, but then he does. He doesn't recognize that the president is I'm sending you with my number one guy.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's why I like him so much.
Yeah, he's a character. He's fun.
There's the whole debacle of them going to Vegas, and they're trying to block the ballot or they're having that meeting to block the ballot certification, but then maybe they don't want to block it, and of course just drama as always. But before we get into the Twitter drama, speaking of drama, watch The Bachelor, Bachelorette.
Yes, I do.
It's coming up soon. But on this past season of The Bachelor, Ben told JoJo that he loved her, but her fairy tale ending crashed straight to the ground when he said he loved someone else more.
Gosh.
Ouch. And sent her away with a broken heart. It was the most dramatic Bachelor finale ever.
It was horrible.
It really was. Well, been there, done with that, for sure. ABC Mondays, May 23rd, JoJo is going to be back as the new Bachelorette. Woo! The stunning fan favorite from Texas, love me a Southern girl, is leaving her heartbreak behind, going from Ben to 26 new men. Every girl's dream, right? All hoping to be the one to make her happily ever after finally come true. Are the guys here for the right reasons? Will they make a connection? And will JoJo finally get the happy ending she's always wanted?
Maybe, possibly.
Maybe, hopefully. The surprises start night one as the guys try to grab her attention right out of the limo to get that coveted first impression rose. And a new epic journey of romance, man tears, and drama is about to begin. The Bachelorette premieres at a special time Monday, May 23rd, 9/8 Central on ABC. So be sure to check it out. We love us some Bachelor and Bachelorette
so
here
excited.
at AfterBuzz.
And there's always so different, the Bachelor and the Bachelorette. It's just always just with the guys, the girls, the cattiness, but you kind of still see it with all of them. I don't know. I'm excited for it.
Because it shows you how men can be catty too.
Yeah, they're a little bit more feisty than some girls.
Exactly. Speaking of craziness, feistiness, Twitter, where crazy stuff happens all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Selena decides that she wants to tweet her boyfriend, her new boyfriend, Charlie Baird. I love that they're making the president of the United States have a boyfriend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because it's true, though. It's what do you do if the president doesn't have, a wife or a significant other? It's
Has that ever actually happened in real life?
I don't know. I'm not positive. I don't think so. honestly.
Maybe like back in the day.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't heard. I mean, in my lifetime, no.
I've never
It's only been
heard.
a couple presidents.
Yeah.
So when you don't have a spouse and stuff, like, I mean, they're humans. They need to, I guess, date.
Exactly.
But I mean, the process to be able to date someone, I mean, obviously for Selena, we say it's very easy. If she wants a guy, she's going to get a guy.
Yeah.
You know.
She's the president.
She's the president.
After all.
But now seeing her have a boyfriend, my whole thing with the Twitter is who gave her, like, I guess it was Gary, gave her the code and the access to Twitter. Like, this team, they just don't think about things.
Right? Like, I control for work, or I don't control it. I like tweet from my boss's account sometimes, or do like his Instagram, but he still has access too. But I always get really worried, like whenever he actually does stuff, and I'm like, oh gosh, what are you gonna say?
Yeah.
Not that he would ever say anything bad, of course, but I'm like, did you do your hashtags right and whatever?
But it's your baby because you make it into like a certain way that like he's presented online. Your appearance online is like different, you know, kind of than who you are or whatever.
Right.
You want to, the facade you want to put out there, I guess.
Of course.
So yeah, so if your boss isn't correctly saying what he normally says, people be like, what's going on here?
But see, Gary would just give her the information on how to do it because he's like, oh, she's perfect. She won't mess anything up.
Oh yeah.
But she decides to tweet him something about his wife going down on biscuits and gravy. I forget what she said, but it was hilarious. About O'Brien's wife, the guy who she's running against. And
basically calling him fat.
Yeah. And she thought that she direct messaged it to Charlie, but no, she actually just tweeted it to the entire world.
But I mean, how many times though do we see this happen though with celebrities and stuff where they tweet something on accident and it goes out? Like I think like Charlie Sheen actually tweeted out his phone number to like Justin Bieber or something on Twitter.
Really?
Yeah, and like thought it was like a direct message. And then people always just say, like, they use the hack cover-up.
Yeah.
It's always like, oh, well, they were hacked. Oh, hackers. Like, when are we going to stop using that as a cover-up?
You're right. Well, just today, I, like, meant to Snapchat just my friend, and I added it to my story. Luckily, I noticed it and quickly deleted it.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
because it would have been quite embarrassing.
Oh,
But
yeah.
this makes me think that, like, other people really do just say, like, oh, I was hacked, when in fact, they were probably just, like, drunk and tweeted
dumb.
something crazy.
Yeah. I remember I once, like, have you ever done this even with text messages? Like, you're thinking about something. I was, like, telling a story, talking about someone else, and then
you
I sent
texted
it to
them.
that person, and I was like, I had never felt so embarrassed, and I didn't realize I did it until I got the text back from that. I was like, that's weird that she's texting me now.
Right.
I was like, oh my God. It was like me and my best friend just dishing about something.
And it's always when you've said something, like, terrible that you shouldn't have said, and then
it's karma. I think it's just karma.
It is.
See,
Mine's happened with a guy before.
Oh my
and
gosh.
like I screenshotted something that he texted me and was like, oh my
you
gosh.
sent it.
And meant to send it to my best friend. But instead, like, and I literally was like, oh my gosh, listen to what he said. And then I sent it to him. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to see what you would say if you knew. I don't know. He was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I never talked to him again.
Oh my gosh.
So that's fine
One
with
of my
me.
stories is that I screenshotted a photo of one of the new guys I was seeing, and I was sending it to my friend, and I actually texted it to my ex who was actually texting at the time.
Oh no.
And he's like, who's that? And I was like, oh, he's just one of my acting friends. I didn't know if you like recognized him. And I goes,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't recognize him. And I was like, oh,
That's good.
I like made it all up. I was like, oh my God, I don't know what to
That's
say.
actually a really good one. Though.
Anyway, so guys, be careful with
Yes.
tweeting, with texting, you know, dot your I's, cross your T's.
It's very dangerous.
crazy. Just don't do it.
No. So they had a breach in like some sort of security earlier in the day that like Chinese hackers breached. I forget what security. Oh, they're like the national security server.
Yeah, national security.
But so I think it was Ben that originally came up with the idea. He's like, you didn't tweet that from your account. We don't know what you're talking about. We had a breach earlier today.
Yeah.
And so they come up with the idea to say that China breached their cybersecurity and it was a hacked tweet that she sent out. But I'm like, okay, that's too clever of a tweet for someone else to send out. But whatever you say.
Yeah.
And so, of course, like O'Brien comes on and he's like, she's not taking this seriously. She, you know, if in fact there was the cybersecurity hack and the national security hack, like a lot more like aggression should be shown. So she ends up like, okay, well, I'll do something. That wasn't enough for me to call them out. So she like places all of these sanctions on China. And of course, there's going to be some sort of backlash from this.
Oh yeah, and we see that at the end, which is just, it's hilarious every time. It's Mike always trying to fuse all these random situations, and Mike is just not the guy for the job, and no one's realizing that.
No.
And he just literally walks away from the podium. But the funniest line from that part at the end was when he's like, yeah, Americans can no longer adopt Chinese babies.
Because he's trying to adopt, and now he won't be able to.
And he just like walked off stage. It was so sad.
He's like, okay, well, I have to text my wife.
But I love that was like one of like the things in the in the release.
Of course it is
a huge thing,
Hopefully they'll clear that up so he can in fact adopt his baby.
Aww.
That would be nice. Dan and Amy have a lovely little interaction tonight because Dan thinks that he's about to be like big time hooked up at CBS.
Oh my gosh.
When in fact, no, Sophie works at CVS.
Oh my gosh. Last episode when that whole thing like transpired and it kind of ended with that him still not knowing, and I was freaking out. I was like, oh my gosh, he's going to sleep with her. He's going to do it just for that job.
Yeah.
And so I love that Amy kind of calls him out on it, and she gets to have that moment because he was kind of throwing in her face like, yeah, I slept with your sister.
Yeah.
And so she was actually able to like give it back because there's so much tension with them.
Sexual tension.
Yeah, lots of sexual tension, and they like play, I don't know, these games with each other, and it's gonna come out maybe this season. I'll predict kind of.
Yeah.
Something's gonna, finally happen.
It's been happening for I think it's been happening since season 1.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, I feel like they're really kind of going for it a little bit more this season, so that's what I like about it.
Oh yeah.
And hopefully it'll actually happen.
Hopefully he won't work at CVS and he'll stay with Selina.
Well, that would be nice of him not to work at CVS. He's spent a long time with politics.
Yeah.
But she kind of discovers, or we've seen some not so great sides of Bob. Like he's forgetting stuff. He and Amy are at the office together, and he's like, how are you doing, Jamie?
Yeah.
And like clearly Bob the Eagle, so Selina trusts like more than anything. She's like going past everyone. She's like, what do you think Bob will think we should do about this? Even the hacking thing, whenever she's in the limo getting ready to go to this benefit with Charlie, and he and Gary just get out so she can have the meeting with him, and she's like, just so you know, like there wasn't actually a hack. What do you think we should do?
Yeah.
And then he like starts acting crazy, and he's like, is anyone in this thing?
He's looking inside of it, calling her Mr. President, like, oh, maybe in the year 2000 we'll have a Madam President. It's I thought for a second that he was just, at first I thought he was losing his mind a little bit, and then when I saw all the pills and stuff, I was like, maybe he's just a drug addict.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was taking birth control at one point.
Like, I didn't know what he was doing, if he was just popping all these pills just because he's like, 4 to 5 hours, just like hanging out. I was like, okay, maybe he just has a drug problem.
Right.
And then we really saw in that limo ride that, no, poor guy.
He's got something else going on. And she has him at this like crazy important meeting, but then he leaves to go and talk to her in the car interview, and then he just I think Dan sees him get into a cab. No one knows where he's going, and then like the next day they're literally like searching. They're like, we still haven't found Bob. Call the Nevada police. Like, why can no one find him? And then he shows up and he's at the White House.
He's just hanging out there at the White House.
And she's all worried that he's gonna remember that she told him about the Chinese hack, but he has no idea.
He clearly doesn't. He was just wondering what the soup of the day was.
Yeah, he's like, I want some navy bean soup.
Yeah, it's Thursday, navy bean. That's what's happening. But I love that where they end up putting Bob. I love that in the statement that Mike makes to the press and stuff. It basically says that Bob's returning back to cybersecurity. He's
gonna be the cybersecurity czar.
Yeah, exactly. Like giving him an official title. You know, and then they just bring him all the way down to the basement with no cell service and just with like all like. Basically where,
storage boxes
the storage guy, like a tech guy would kind of work, and they just leave him to it, and he's all happy. He's all excited.
He's like, it's fine.
It's like, my phone won't work, and they were like, yeah. And he goes,
good luck.
Yeah, good luck. Okay. He's just not even fazed by it.
She gives the like BS titles all the time to people like that. That like when she gave what's his face? I can't think of his name right now. She made him the economy czar.
Yeah, the economy czar.
And so she's just gonna give out like she
Everyone's
loves using that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's like a bad term, but
they're
I
just
don't really know. So when Mr. Whitman gets tired of Bob not being in this meeting, he's like, something is happening right now, or like, we're leaving, whatever. And Richard kind of says like, oh no, but there might be these ballots. He's like, oh, are you talking about the ones in Washoe County? He's like, we looked for those and couldn't find them, and if there's one single ballot found, you'll see us in court.
Yeah.
And then Amy walks in, because this is where they're trying to discover where these missing ballots have gone to, and that's why they're trying to put it off. And she walks in, she's like, how did you do that?
And Richard
once again, he just did it without even knowing what he's doing.
Yeah, and then he just starts talking about something else. It's just like, okay, thank you, Richard.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And this hearing is happening all the while where it's about like at 6 p.m. that night the ballots are going to be certified, and that's what they're trying to put off. So they're like, oh, who can go install this certification? And of course, she sends her best pal, Karen.
Karen is back at it. I'm so happy Karen's
I
back.
love so much. She's like, how is she going to stall? Or she's like, I would never stall. I respect this court, talking to Amy. And then she goes up and she's like, I'd like to define some terms. What is a vote? And she's like, it can be a silent nod of the head.
Yeah. See, because normally, like, last season, it so annoyed me. Just, like, you know, like, it annoyed, especially Amy, it annoyed so much, her just talking. Because Selena didn't recognize it till the end. Same thing with Bob, is everyone else recognizes what's going on until the end, you know? And then Selena kind of gets it, and then Selena makes a decision to let them go or whatever.
She's like, oh, crap.
But this time, her whole personality and her whole persona and what she does actually worked to the benefit of everyone. I loved seeing it because it was funny. It was really funny this time. Instead of me just getting angry with her for doing it last time, it was just really funny in the courtroom.
And she ended up getting everything delayed, and they find these missing 10,000 ballots. That could be a huge help because it's some like mail worker who was pissed about something that Selena did. Yeah. And so he was hiding these ballots. So that makes me think if he was hiding these ballots because he was pissed at something Selena did last term, whenever she was vice president, they're probably good for her, right?
Yeah, possibly.
Hopefully.
You never know, because I don't know if he probably opened them. I don't know. That man's going to jail for a while.
We see his like little mugshot and everything.
Oh, yeah,
he's definitely going to be in jail.
We found it in a little garage there. So, luckily they found it, so we'll see what happens with the whole Nevada thing. Because I know our whole thing is she not going to be president anymore? Is she going to go back to being a vice president?
Because we still don't even know.
We still don't know. So I think this gives her a better shot now.
I feel like that'll be like the whole season. We won't really know.
Just trying to figure out Nevada. Yeah. Same thing.
That'll like the very last scene is like, this is what it is.
Yeah.
Who else was in?
And then Catherine a little bit, once again. Catherine's just
trouble.
It's horrible. It's something, it's like, it kind of makes me cringe because it's really funny that she's capturing everything.
But I know it's going to come out in such a bad way.
Oh yeah, and it's going to be hilarious. But I think one of the funny lines from it was when she's like, but Mom, I'm making a doc. And Selena's like, a what? And she goes, a documentary. And Selena just like looks at her and goes, well, why don't you just say the whole thing then? And just like walks out. And it's just kind of funny, like the generations, like with slang words and stuff. And our parents are like, what are you talking about?
No, my mom uses slang words. Like
I love that.
She doesn't anymore. But not like that, but she'll like write the number 2 instead of TO or TOO. And I'm like, don't do that. She's like, what? It's easier for texting, or you are for your. Yeah. I'm like, oh gosh.
That was back when like T9, like when you had the T9 keyboard, it was easy, like, but now everyone has a full keyboard.
Yeah. So it's like, why? It takes almost just as long to like figure out what you would
click
put
the
instead
symbol
of the actual
and put
word.
the number, and then same amount of
on my birthday, I dropped my phone into a tub of water, and so I had to get like a Go phone, and I missed it. I was like, I'm still good at this thing, and it was good because I can like sit here talking to you, and I can text.
You still text.
Like
remember how many letters it is, how many clicks
it's like A, B, C.
Because back in school under your desk, you had to do that without looking straight at the teacher, pretending what you weren't texting.
But every teacher knows like how obvious is what I'm doing right now. Yeah. Like, hello. But we thought we were so slick.
Oh yeah.
Kids today, you'll never know.
In some classrooms that I did, I literally had my phone on my desk, and sometimes if they saw your phone, they didn't really care because they could see that you weren't actually using it, so they'd rather see it.
Right.
And so I'd have it on their desk whenever they weren't looking. I would just sit and I would just do this. And then like if they came around, I just moved my little finger. Right. This was in high school. This was like drawing. When I was like 15, 16, I thought I was so clever.
Oh, I know. I always went with the hiding, but they knew every single time. They knew it. Oh yeah. What about Gary and Charlie's little friendship? Oh, Gary loves him.
Bromance. Oh, yeah. We saw last episode that he really liked him. He brought in these macaroons and tea when they were in a little argument, and now we just see him get so excited when he gets to sit next to him at the dinner waiting for Selena.
He's like, oh. Are you sure? Because she never lets him do anything fun. No. And then as soon as she shows up, she's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines, I wrote it down. She says to him, she's like, you're hanging on to me like a skin tag. Because she just like whispers everything to him, but it's always so funny.
Yeah, and then she also, her other mocking, when she mocked Mike, she goes, blah, 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 blah. And then she got all into it, and it was hilarious.
And it's for so long, he's like, that's not even accurate. And everyone's like, yeah, that's actually a pretty accurate interpretation.
Exactly what you sound like.
Mike just gets a short end of the stick every time.
Oh, poor Mike.
Well, that's basically it for tonight's episode, though. It was hilarious. One of my other favorite lines, probably. One thing I love about the show is that it's not afraid to not be politically correct all the time. And where she says, she's talking to Bob, I think, about wanting to get to Nevada, and she goes, I feel trapped like a Saudi housekeeper.
That was great.
I thought it was hilarious.
And then another funny part was just Jonah's only real appearance in the whole thing. Was when they were talking on Skype and stuff, and everyone was just trying to tell him to shut up, and everyone just simultaneously was like, shut the F up, Jonah, and that was just always like his whole thing. And so he came onto this whole episode. Imagine him like filming that and stuff, and it's only like just getting yelled at all day on set. It's
That's
great.
basically his role, pretty much.
Incredible.
Do we have any new predictions for now?
I think she's gonna.
Your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
I mean, there's just going to be more shady stuff happening in Nevada. I don't think we're going to get definitive because we still have another hearing with it.
Yeah.
But I'm still thinking that she's going to end up as vice president again somehow.
I feel like it's like the ultimate knockdown for her. So I think it's going to end up happening too. But I think it's going to end up happening partially because of Catherine's doc footage.
Oh, yeah.
Because she's getting so much, like Selena even said tonight, she's like, don't use the vulgar stuff. She's like, that's all that it is.
Yeah, exactly.
And she's capturing like every single portion of all the bad stuff that is happening.
Oh, yeah.
Like let's blame China for the tweet. Let's do all this other stuff. She's capturing that on film. So someone's going to like steal that somehow.
Like how, I just still don't understand how she's just allowed to have a camera. Like no one would ever let her. But I mean,
it's her mom.
They're all idiots.
Right.
Like no one's really knowing.
Very true.
We'll have to see what more funny lies ahead.
Definitely. Well, thank y'all so much for joining us. As always, you can find us all at AfterBuzz TV. Let us know what your favorite lines were as well. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at April Whisenhant.
And you can find me at Nadine DP and the number 3.
We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.